Welcome, I'm Elizabeth Durazio, and we're joining you right here from Main Street Warner at The Local. And what better thing to talk about than a great show? I'm joined by Michael T. Brown II, and he's going to tell us about Looking Over the President's Shoulder, a one-man show that we don't want to miss. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, this is a really neat production. It's a one-man show, but it's been near and dear to your heart for a while.
It has. I've been working with this show since my freshman year of high school, actually. I've grown to know the main character, Alonzo Fields, very well, and the show is about change, and it's always come about at a time of change in my life, so I've always made that connection with it. Yeah.
Now tell us about this. Some of us are familiar with movies based on this, the topic, but this is about the butler who oversaw many things in the presidency and several presidents.
Well, actually, this one isn't. This butler specifically isn't to be confused with the butler from the Lee Daniels production. Alonzo Fields was chief butler of the White House. He came in under President Hoover, and he served through all of Roosevelt's term, all of Truman's term, and he left under Eisenhower. And so he only overlaps with the Lee Daniels butler just a little bit, actually, come to find out. But the play takes place during his last day at the White House, where he's reminiscing about all the times that he had and the presidents that he'd served and things that he saw and went on during the White House. The interesting thing about him is that he didn't want to be a domestic and work in the White House. It just sort of happened. It came about during the Depression. What he really wanted to do was he wanted to be a singer, and he was actually trained as an opera singer, an opera performer. But during the Depression, when things got rough, and he was seeking work to pay for, his wife and child, he got a call from the White House to be a butler, and
can't pass that up.
No, not at all. So.
Now, SKIT does wonderful productions throughout the year. They use much local talent. Tell us how you sort of came to them and how this production sort of came to be at this time.
I started working with SKIT last year. I did my first production with them last year around this time, actually. And I recently did the Red Velvet Cake War here in Warner, and I got to thinking about this piece, and I thought it would be really good, a really good piece for SKIT to sponsor. And I proposed it to the board. They were really happy about it, and doing it around the time of Memorial Day weekend,
Right.
So.
When we think about local theater, we don't often think of topics that are so wide-ranging. What do you think makes this piece so timely for right now?
It connects very well with the political atmosphere of today. One of my favorite quotes of many from the show, Alonzo says, "If the White House doesn't lead, who's going to follow?" And I think even in today's, this day and time, that is very, very true. I think we look at our government to be that leading force in our lives, and if we can't depend on them, who can we depend on to lead us all in the right direction?
Well, it's very clear that you love this character, and one thing I've always known, and if you've ever worked in theater, and when you're a director, you love finding someone who loves the character because they make him come alive. So as a co-producer and as a star of this, we can't wait to see the show. It's going to be at the Whipple Hall. And when is it, to make sure we don't miss it?
It will be May 25th, 26th, and 27th.
All right, and make sure you get your tickets at the Morgan Hill Bookstore or at the Tatewell Gallery. Remember, you want to see Looking Over the President's Shoulder, and Michael will be there.